Okay. Good afternoon or good morning. It's not afternoon. It's not even noon yet. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Trader's Edge Crypto. My name is Lawton Ho, and I'm joined by
Benjamin Poole.
And this is the show where we answer questions and try and get a trade off of crypto, right? And before we continue any further, I just want to give a big shout out to Blowfin. We have a promotion currently going on with Blowfin where the more that you deposit, the more rewards you get. This is going to happen from today, the 22nd of September to October 6th, right? So if you deposit 7K or more, you literally get 1K back, right? Which is 1/7, which is, I don't remember that equation, but that's more than 10% as far as a bonus, right? And you can always scan that QR code down below to learn more and sign up using our promo code. So what's going on, Ben? Is anything on your radar?
Well, actually, there are a ton of things moving right now. One of which is MNT. It's one of the only altcoins that are kind of running right now as far as on my watch list. So I'm looking at 167.42 as a potential entry, with a couple different ad levels. So I don't know. Yep, there we go. You can see my chart. This is a 618 fib retracement. It got up to $169, $1.70 basically. Nice pullback. And then if it gets up to 167.42, that's where I'm looking to enter. We would have an ad level at 168.54 as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get that order set real quick. 167. For some reason on Blowfin, the perpetual contract, it's my level is a little bit higher. So let me see that real.
Because it might be in USDT instead of USD. I'm not sure if that matters.
All right. So yeah, it looks like it hit the 618 already. So a pierce of 170. So 170.43. I'm going to I'm going to enter this trade. 1.7023. 03. And then I'm going to use 10% of my portfolio, 3 times leverage. Let me see if I can use spot.
And you're going long, right?
I'm going short.
You're not going to be able to short on Blowfin with spot. You have to use futures.
Okay. That's what's going on. I was logged in. Give me a second. All right. So I'll use futures. It looks like it's pulling back now. On the other direction, grass is looking, GRASS is looking decent for a potential long play as well. I don't have too many different levels. Grass had a nice pullback today. Wow. So you're going to get some support here at 70457 on this chart. So that would be the first place I'd be interested, 70478. Got this nice support area. And then if it drops a little bit more, you got another little double bottom. Well, not necessarily double bottom, but green bar candle at 67,316.
All right. Can I start answering questions?
Yeah, please.
All right, sure. Isaac says 88 in Ethereum, best price in swing trade. I'm assuming you're saying a long. Here's my chart on Ethereum, right? And you see this head and shoulders pattern with this measured move, right? And I had this already marked on my charts. This is before I even before I even opened up my chart, I had drawn this sometime last week, right? I had this level marked on as support down here, and I had this nice neckline here from the head and shoulders pattern. And if you take a look, Ethereum finally broke that head and shoulders pattern. Where did it go? It went literally almost to the penny to that level of support, slightly above it, right? Slightly above it, around that $4,000 mark. So for me, on an entry, next time it comes down, I expect it to go lower, right? Lower. Um, for me, I wouldn't be interested too much in entering a long position on Ethereum at least to $3,400, at least to this $3,400 level. Um, Ethereum is up so much. We just take a look since June, right? Ethereum was up over double, right? It's up over $2,000 since June, right? So if you're talking about a swing trade, I wouldn't purchase it until well below $4,000. As far as Cardano, let me see, or Ethereum, yeah, Cardano, ADA USDT, have this. And a lot of the crypto charts are trading similarly, right? If you look at a lot of the crypto charts, you're going to see a similar head and shoulders pattern. And look at this beautiful head and shoulders pattern. Let me connect this neckline to the bottom here. Regardless of how you connect it, this is the measured move, right? Measured move is a move down 35%. Now, do I think Cardano is going to fall 35%? Not necessarily, but you have this low pivot right here at around 68 cents that I think could conceivably come down to about 17% lower. You can consider starting a position there. There should be some support there. There should be some support basically where it is now, around 78 cents as well. And if you want, you can target this area down here. It's the lows basically of the year, right? Kissed by the Liberation Day lows and kissed again by the lows of June, around this 51-cent level. Should also provide some good support on Cardano ADA, right? Christopher says, can you please give me resistance and support levels on World Liberty Finance? World Liberty Finance. What's the ticker for that? USDT WLF. I'm not sure. Are you familiar with that ticker?
No, I'm not.
World. Let me look it up really quick. Sorry, guys. How's your trades coming?
Well, grass is getting closer.
Is this Wi-Fi?
Still about 3% away on GRASS USDT. This is perpetual contract. 7047 is where I'm looking to go long. This will be a 1/10 position, 3x leverage.
WLFI. That's the ticker. All right. Sorry. Excuse me. This is a Trump-backed coin. All right. And this is a relatively new coin, right? You could tell because there's a rug pull at the beginning. You can see it up 140%. And then the rug was pulled down 50%. Support and resistance levels, I don't have. There's not too much price data, right? You appear to be breaking this kind of upsloping trend line, right? You expect to find support first at this pivot low, and then you have the pretty much all-time low of 16 cents. You should get support there. As far as resistance is concerned, there's not that much price data on this chart. Maybe 26 cents. But I don't know if you have anything different, Ben.
I'm still
looking at your trade.
Yeah. I'm still trying to enter a trade.
Yep. And
I'm also looking at Fartcoin.
yep, I have your charts up.
All right. We have a break of a down sloping trend line. I would need it to retrace. So basically a pierce of 60, and I'd be interested. So maybe, yeah, just any pierce of 60, and I'd go long. Look at this on the daily time frame. You had this, all the support in this area, kind of an inverse head and shoulders that's already played out. Go ahead and remove some of this, get a little clearer. So pierce of 60, you're going to have this pivot top right here a little bit lower, but figure we can get in a little bit before that area of 58.20, 246. Just trying to get set up for it now.
All right. Let's see here. Neil gave, hope you look at Chainlink and Cardano and maybe SUI? It's a very broad question. If you could give us some more specifics as far as day trade, swing trade, if you're long, if you're short, if you're in the position, what you're looking for there. And we did cover Cardano already. Janko says, I keep hearing about Ethereum Classic in the wake of Ethereum. There seems to be an inverse head and shoulders, which starts around January. I'm looking for a swing trade long for completion and inverse head and shoulders. What are the levels at which it completes or fails? Well, good question. Let's take a look. Inverse head and shoulders that begins in January. Okay. So you're saying something like this? Is that what you're saying? Yanko? I will say that there was potentially an inverse head and shoulders starting in December to January, right? Boom, 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 right? And I'd tell you that the move is already played out, right? And just because you asked about how to find if it does move out or does play out, the way you find that is to take the bottom or the top of the head rather, and then attach it to the breakout of the neckline. And you get that measured move there, approximately 62%. Now, Ethereum Classic didn't move up 62%. It moved up majority of the way there, about 75% of that move, around 51% higher. But I'd consider that move done, right? I'd consider that move done. The way you can play it, so there's no longer an inverse head and shoulders, but you do have this previous neckline. So as far as Ethereum Classic is concerned, should this come down and reach this, retrace to this neckline, you consider entering a long position there because you know that was a key level of support prior, and it is now a key level of resistance, or it used to be a resistance and now it's a key level of support. You have a couple other support levels all throughout here scattered between $15 to $17 if you wanted to enter a little earlier. But that's generally how to find an inverse head and shoulders, how to see if it'll play out. Jamie says, hi, peeps, LTC. Seems to be making a head and shoulders. Let me remove everything. Head and shoulders, yes, absolutely. It is making a head and shoulders pattern, depending on how you draw it. But in the longer term, an inverse head and shoulders question mark, if this is correct, which one should we keep in mind? Well, let's take a look, shall we? Here is your head and shoulders pattern. However you want to draw, if you want to draw that as a shoulder, or alternatively, you're able to draw this as a shoulder, right? Which it's breaking the neckline now. Say this is the shoulder. Let's find that measured move. Ooh. So this is the short-term head and shoulders pattern that we're seeing on a lot of the cryptocurrencies currently in the market. That measured move, so move 27% lower. Let me see that inverse head and shoulders that you're referring to. Long-term. Check the weekly. See if I can find the one you're talking about. I don't quite see that.
All right, fart coin is coming down.
You got the charts. Where's your entry again on Fartcoin?
5996. Oh.
It's Fort.
There we go.
Yeah, all right. 5996.
Yep.
And you're gonna go how heavy?
10% with 3x leverage. I still have my order out for GRASS as well. And that's 7047 on GRASS. So it needs to drop a little bit more.
Okay. Ben will keep you updated in case he gets filled. But as far as back to this question on having an inverse head and shoulders on one time frame and a head and shoulders pattern on another time frame, as long as your longer time frame inverse head and shoulders doesn't get invalidated, it's fine. It's still valid, right? That's just makes sense, right? Like for this, when I'm charting this, I would play this head and shoulders pattern. Absolutely 100%. I'd play this head and shoulders pattern, right? If you have a bigger, longer term one, say you consider this a head and shoulders pattern, I would argue that the move already played out or the move isn't even valid because the neckline doesn't even connect to anything on the upside, right? Like you have to, for the neckline, it has to connect all the way and you'd have to drag it all the way there. Let's say that you had that bigger inverse head and shoulders with this regular head and shoulders pattern. I'd say that this already broke out and already played out. As far as this regular head and shoulders, I would be paying attention to that, right? This is something that's universal with all different patterns. The time interval that you find your pattern in, that's how long you anticipate it to play out in, right? Just because I have an inverse head and shoulders on the 1 minute doesn't mean that Litecoin doesn't have a head and shoulders on the daily, right? Even if it's a smaller, even if it's on a smaller time frame, it might still be valid, right? So that means you could expect a small bounce, but you expect over the course of the next few days that head and shoulders pattern eventually does play out, at least a part of it. Tommy says, I shorted Solana at $233. Okay. $233 and took 233 and I took profits at 223. Did I pull the trigger too soon? Well, the first thing I would say is that nobody goes broke taking a profit, right? You were able to snag essentially 4% in a day, right? In a day. My shortable level is right up here around 250. You see that previously Solana was trading in this kind of upsloping parallel channel, right, which favors the move lower. You short at top of the parallel and look for a move to the midline or lower, right? So if I were to play that, I would probably have taken it off around 221, 223 anyways, because that is that midline of that parallel channel. You're expecting, at least some level of support at that level. So it's not a matter of too soon, right? You took a profit, 4%. Congratulations. You put it in your pocket and continue. If it goes higher, back up to 250 or the top of this parallel channel, yeah, I'd be interested in shorting Solana, right, and look for a move down to this bottom of this parallel or a break down below. Ronick says, hello, Ben and Lawton. Just coming in to say hello. The other room is closed for a few hours.
Hey, what's up, Ronick?
Thanks for stopping by, buddy. A says, I bought lately SEI. Okay. Bought SEI. I'm a daily/weekly trader, at least right now. What do you think of the big picture of the daily chart? So unsurprisingly, similar to all the rest of the crypto charts that I've covered, you did have a head and shoulders pattern, however you want to draw it. You can draw it like this, right? You had this head and shoulders pattern that tried to break below, bounced off of the neckline, and is now trying to make that move. Now, it looks like there's two shoulders, so I don't love the pattern as much, but that doesn't mean it's invalidated. My measured move for this on SEI as far as the daily, it's just a head and shoulders pattern, right? And the break. It's 46%. Basically coincides with this low pivot here, back from the lows of June 17th, right? At about 16 cents, right? So if this comes down, you might be seeing a move down to there. Now that would be a big move for SEI, and in order for that to happen, you'd likely have to see a broader pullback in the all of the general crypto markets. However, considering basically every chart we've taken a look at has the same head and shoulders pattern on it, wouldn't be surprising if we had a nice sell here, continued sell on the crypto markets. And not that we can't catch an intraday bounce, like Ben might be looking for on Fartcoin, but
yeah, it's hovering right there at 6050.
6050, and you're 5996 for 1/10 long, 3 times leverage, right?
Correct. So I just need to drop a little bit more.
Yeah, and for those of you who are just joining us, right, or have joined just recently, we are partnering for Blowfin for this. So if you want to get in on the action, make sure to scan this QR code on your screen. If you deposit, the more you deposit, the more bonus money that you get, right? Of course, I don't think those bonuses are withdrawable, but I mean, you getting an additional 14% return if you invest or deposit $7,000, you get $1,000 bonus, right? That's 14% bonus right there immediately. And maybe you can take a couple of trades and then withdraw your money, right? Withdraw your money and just trade with that bonus. I'm not
right. This is for the first 100 people, new and existing clients. Yep. So even if you have money deposited in your Blowfin account, this is one way to also get a bonus.
Yeah, first 100 people. So
first 100 people. Yep.
So I would take advantage of that. It's a great deal. Imagine you just took a trade, right, and you're guaranteed to have a 14% winner. Like, dude, I'll take that. I'm not gonna complain about that instantly, right?
You're trading with house money at that point.
Exactly. I wish they did that at the casino.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They do that, right? To like super big spenders. That's not us. We're the little guys. It's the little guys.
I would like to say super big losers.
Oh yeah. Anna says, "Hi guys, where do you see BNB going to?" I entered a short at $1,058. This is insane. This chart is crazy, by the way. Binance Coin shorted it at 1,058. First of all, great short so far. Looks like a really good level.
So it's probably coming down to this double top area right here, pierce of $900.
So she said she's targeting 984. Or do you think it'll go further down? I think it's going further down, to be honest. 984, you're still looking at a decent size 8% gain. However, yeah, that double top $900 psychological level is going to provide a lot of support for BNB. What happened to cause this to just rip? Just crypto? It's just crypto.
According to this, it's saying Plasma blockchain to launch stablecoin focused neobank.
All right, those are certainly words.
A lot of words for sure.
But anyways, we don't care about the words. We care about the charts, and charts are saying a move to like 900. What you could do if you wanted to, once you get to that 984, you can take half off of the table there and let the rest run with the trailing stop, right? So as price continues to move lower, you make sure you lock in profits with the trailing stop, right? It's always nice taking profits. And as you can see, Ben found a nice level of resistance, that trend line through that pivot low, the Liberation Day, not Liberation Day lows, the August lows from last year.
Yeah.
Through all of the dips. Yep.
This looked like it was putting in a head and shoulders pattern, which favored a move to the downside. I think in my service, we were short this. We took a nice gain. I think we shorted again on a retrace. Then we got out and look at this thing. Fortunately, we did. The thing is on a tear.
I know it's a nice pullback today, though. 5%. It's a nice candle today. Nice reversal candle.
It does have a topping tail as well.
Yep, topping tail.
Yep. Which bodes well for it. It did have a little topping tail right here. Basically, it had just about the $1,000 even number, but then it just decided to pull back, and then it was shooting for the 1,100. So it negated that topping tail, put it in another one. That's really bearish for this particular altcoin.
You heard it here first. Ben is shorting BNB.
Maybe.
Mario says, could you check RSC Research Coin and AKT? Or let me take a look. RSC USDT. Let's take a look here. Research Coin. Okay, I've never heard of this chart before. Doesn't mean we can't chart it. First thing I will say is that on a longer time frame, you have a big head and shoulders pattern, right? However you want to draw it. It obviously hasn't played out yet, but this is a very big head and shoulders pattern. So keeping an eye on that. Going closer, I mean, you're kind of trading in this, like, it's almost like a wedge. Almost like a little wedge. You were trading like this, a wedge like this. You had a breakout, retrace, try to push up, retrace again, finally broke out, and now you're coming back again. I'm looking for support about 7% lower at around 51 cents on this. You can see how much price action has happened on this trend line here on RSC. Or you'd probably anticipate a bounce. However, should you break this upsloping trend line, which is the bottom of that previous wedge, right, and confirm, you're likely seeing another move downward, right? Continue to move downward. As far as AKT, Akash is concerned, this is also kind of a similar chart-ish, right?
So just a heads up, I canceled my order on GRASS2. GRASS.
Yep, you got the charts.
Okay. It's off the table. I'm still eyeing Fartcoin, though.
See if we can get a trade on Farcoin. Auction. Wow. What a nice chart. This chart. Wow, you could have made a lot of money if you shorted it up there.
Why you gotta bring up old things? Look at this. Talk about a rug pull. Oh my gosh. Look at this daily candle. 40% and then down 60% in 2 days.
It's a lot of money that could be made there.
A lot of money that could have been made there. Yep.
It is what it is. Anything else on your radar? I see you pulling up OMU. Is there anything there, Mantra?
No, this thing just keeps getting beat up.
It's all the crypto markets. They're all their daily candles look like that.
Oh, I meant just look at this though.
Oh, what the heck? What is that fall?
I don't know. It even broke this support level after a nice bounce, got rejected, and then this slow fade. I mean, I guess there is a little bit of support right here at 15,588.
This is like something that is gonna go boom or bust. Like if there's good news in this thing you will like 10x in like a day. But you could easily lose all of your money. Feast or famine.
Yeah. Look at that. 86%. From this one green bar candle, 70%. It's crazy.
It's feast or famine.
Oh, Conflex.
If they all got that ugly red candle.
They do. Man, AI16Z, we traded this last week. Got a tiny win, and then all of a sudden, it just shot up. It's all right.
Coming back. Yeah,
now it's even lower.
Look at your watch list. Everything is red. It's all red.
Except for MNT.
Which is very surprising. It's up 7%. That's very, very, very surprising.
It got close to that 618 fib retracement. I'm no longer interested in MNT at 16716.
We got lots of questions, so let's hop back into it if you don't mind.
All right. Nope, not at all.
10 minutes left.
Valentine, we already went over BNB for you.
Yep, we already looked at BNB earlier. Oh, that question was from like 10 minutes ago.
Oh yeah, it was.
Let me see here. My questions aren't updating. All right, let's keep going on. Martin says, hey guys, hope you guys had a nice weekend. Do you ever trade something like PAXG or XAUT? I've never traded either of those or look at their charts, but I can take a look. Ever traded something like that? Oh, it's like gold, right? PAX Gold and XAUT. So these are
they're basically the same chart.
Yeah, they're gold. They're gold gold cryptocurrencies, pretty much. Like I think they're linked to gold. So do we trade them? No, we just trade the if we're gonna trade gold, we're gonna either use ETFs, regular ETFs, or just like contracts, futures instead of cryptocurrency. Let's see. Mar says, hey guys, how strict are the rules for a topping tail? Can the closing price be a tiny little bit more, for example, 26, 27, or 29%? And is
No,
there a
I mean,
max?
so yes, the rules are very strict, right? Here's my question to you. If let's say that we say, all right, well, it closed on a topping tail, it closed at 26%, but the rule is 25. If it's 26, then why not 27? All right, so now it's 25. It used to be 27. I mean, it used to be 25, now it's 27. All right, well, if it's 27 now, what's wrong with 28? Okay, well, it's close, right? It's still it was 27, now it's 28, so it's only one position more. Okay, well, what about 29? If we use 28, and then you see how it kind of works its way up, and then all of a sudden your rules are no longer there. So if you're going to follow the rules of something, you're going to follow the rules of it. There's no deviation for a rule. So I would say yes. Now, with that being said, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's not a lot of selling pressure, right? For example, let's go to BNB. Let's go to the daily time frame. So if this was not a topping tail, would it still signal that there's a lot of selling pressure in there? Absolutely, especially at the high end of a upsloping trend line. So you've got this low pivot from August 4th, second hit, third hit, fourth hit, broke below, got rejected when it hit the underside, which means that this is significant resistance. Then all of a sudden on BNB, you hit this again from the underside. This would technically be the third hit of it because you've got this first hit here, second hit, third hit from the underside. So it's going to give you a pullback. Even though it wasn't a topping tail, in this case it is. But if it wasn't, you would still see, oh, well, there's still a lot of selling pressure here. Although it's not a topping tail, so I can't necessarily use that as like a 50% Fibonacci retracement. But you could still use that stop out at any close above on a daily closing basis. So again, yes, it is very strict. So no, it's not a topping tail, or yes, it is a topping tail. However, it still gives you an indication of what's kind of happening in the charts. So.
Gotcha. Martin says,
we have 6 minutes left. Fartcoin is now off of the table for me, unfortunately.
Okay. Martin says, do you ever trade using FRVP or VRVP when crypto is consolidating? Do you use that, Ben? FRVP or VRVP?
I do not.
I also do not. All right, so let's see.
I'll be honest. I don't know what.
I don't know what either of those are.
FRVP or VRVP. Oh, volume ranged yeah, Mark. Martin, well, what do you mean by FRVP or VRVP? And we'll wait for the answer. AI 16 is getting a bounce. Bitcoin's trying to push up a little bit. Had a nice sell-off and then a great bounce from the lows at 111,820. It is doing some consolidation though. So this could be putting in a bear flag. So it's kind of a mixed signal, right? So you've got this sideways consolidation inside of this red bar candle. So that's bearish. However, is this an inverse head and shoulders pattern that's trying to play out? I mean, could be on 10-minute. Oh, got it. Fixed range volume profile, variable range volume profile. No, I know there are a lot of people who trade crypto who do use the fixed range volume profile. I do not. I just try to stick with support and resistance levels and stuff like that.
Gotcha. Let's see what else we got. Got about 4 more minutes left. Somebody was asking about drift. Okay, Manco says, hey guys, can you share your thoughts on drift USDT? I'm looking for a long on return to scene of crime after a breakout of inverse head and shoulders at 68 cents. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so I'm assuming you mean this inverse head and shoulders pattern.
Yes.
So there's a couple different ways you could play this. It's not a bad level. I mean, it's hitting, depending on where you draw your trend line, could be drawing it here. This would actually hit this top pivot right here at 80.75. It would pierce this level. This would complete the shoulder. So right here, you've got this top pivot where price action got rejected. And then as soon as it blew through, this is support. As you can see, it's got a little bit of support. So it depends on what your long-term plan for this is. Are you looking to play it out for the measured move? Because if so, then this wouldn't necessarily be a bad spot to get in. You would just know that if it closes below that downsloping trend line, then you would want to stop out if you're playing the inverse head and shoulders pattern based on that. So your measured move, you're looking at 110, 111 area. You're going to have a lot of resistance in this area. So, I mean, yeah, it's not a bad area, especially if you're playing it for a retrace. You could get up to 56% of a gain. All right. You want to go over the promotion one more time, Lawton, so that way everybody can know. We've got less than 2 minutes left, and then we'll just thank everybody for being on.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So once again, guys, thank you so much to Blowfin for sponsoring us. So for Blowfin, we're currently running a promotion from today, September 22nd to the 6th of October. The first 100 users that scan this QR code and deposit money will get a reward, a bonus. So deposit 100 USD, get $30 bonus, right? 30%. That's insane. Deposit 500 USDT, get $100 bonus, 20% return. The more you deposit, the more you get. Of course, that percentage scales down a little bit, but I would not complain on getting, $1,000 for free to trade with, just for depositing $7,000. Those are not withdrawable. Right, they're not withdrawable. However, you're able to remove your $7,000 afterwards after you get that $1,000 bonus, right? So there's really no reason to say no. Let's say you've always wanted to try trading crypto, wanted to try Blowfin. Well, this is a great risk-free way of doing that. Just throw your money in. Once you get that bonus, remove your money and then trade with the free money that Blowfin gave you. And who knows, maybe you can even go 150 times leverage and using their money and make $1 billion, right? In which case you have to give me $1 million of those $1 billion.
That's right. Okay?
All right, guys. Well, that being said, thank you so much for being here. My name is Lawton Ho, and I'm joined by
Benjamin Poole.
And that's it for us. I'm going to go live in 15 minutes for a new version of the Verified AMA. Hope you guys all check that out. But anyways, guys, have a great rest of your day. I'll see you later, guys.
Yeah, take care.
Bye.